She is tied to a chair on the deck. Heather is also there, restrained in a harness. A camera is set up to record everything for what Tucker calls his show. He begins a bizarre speech, praising sharks as the most powerful species on Earth and declaring that God isn't in the sky, but below, in the water where everything began and where everything will end. Tucker then cuts off a lock of Heather's hair and keeps it. He pours blood into the water, attracting a swarm of sharks. Then, he lowers Heather into the sea. The combination of her struggling and the blood incites the sharks, which tear her apart and kill her. Tucker records the entire gruesome scene on his camera. Zafara watches everything, completely terrified. Shaking, she begins to carve her and Heather's names into the wall below. That's when she notices that the wall is covered with the names of many other girls, which had been painted over to hide them. She realizes that Tucker isn't just a psycho. He's a serial killer who has taken the lives of many female tourists. The proof is his collection of videotapes, each stored with a lock of the victim's hair. Heather's tape is the newest edition, and Zafara's is set to be the next. The following morning, what's left of Heather's body can be seen floating in the water. Meanwhile, Moses is still wandering the beach in search of Zafara. He finds her surfboard, which only deepens his anxiety. All of her belongings are there, but she is missing. He knows something is wrong. That night, Tucker comes down again with bread and water for Zafara. In a fit of rage, Zafara kicks the supplies over and yells at Tucker, "You think you're a shark, but you're just an insect." Tucker says nothing and leaves. A moment later, Zafara's attention is drawn to a bucket kept nearby. She breaks the handle off the bucket, fashioning it into a sharp weapon, knowing Tucker will be back. Sure enough, Tucker returns with a syringe to sedate her. As he approaches, Zafara attacks him with the sharp handle, stabbing him with it. Tucker screams and stumbles back. Zafara quickly grabs the key from his pants and frees herself. However, Tucker manages to inject the sedative into her leg, and she begins to feel its effects. Zafara makes her way to the deck and tries to use the radio for help, but there's no response. She then spots another boat in the distance. She screams as loud as she can, but there's a party on the other boat, and her voice is lost in the noise. By now, Tucker has also made it to the deck. Zafara grabs his camera, which he demands back. In her anger, she throws the camera into the ocean, but in the process, she falls into the water as well. She swims with the hope of reaching the party boat, but the sedative takes over, and she faints. Tucker pulls her out of the water, brings her back onto his boat, and imprisons her below deck once more. Now that he doesn't have a camera, he can't record anything, so he postpones his plan to kill Zafara and decides he first needs to buy a new camera. He sets a course back to the shore, leaving Zafara locked up inside the boat. Meanwhile, the police have also started a search for Zafara, but Moses is still restless. He checks the CCTV footage from the beach parking lot and sees Tucker's truck, bearing the Tucker's Experience logo, parked behind Zafara's van. After some quick research, Moses finds the address for the business and makes his way to the boat. As he boards, he hears Zafara screaming from below. He immediately breaks in and rushes down to find her. Zafara is both overjoyed and shocked to see him, wondering how he managed to find her after everything that had happened. Zafara tells him to find something to free her and to call the police. Moses goes back up and makes the call, but just then, Tucker appears and attacks him. The call connects to the police, but Tucker prevents Moses from speaking and smashes his phone. He then injures Moses severely. Despite his injuries, Moses fights back and nearly overpowers Tucker. But then, Dave, the old man from the beginning, shows up and attacks Moses, completely unaware of what Tucker has been doing. As soon as Dave hears Zafara's voice, the whole truth dawns on him, but by then, it's too late. Before Dave can react, Tucker brutally kills him as well. Tucker now feels that staying near the shore is no longer safe. He takes the boat to a deserted island and ties Moses to the bed next to Zafara. As Moses is trying to confess his feelings, Tucker interrupts and takes them both up to the deck. He has decided to record the next tape today. This time, he tries a new method. Tucker first throws pieces of Dave's body into the water, which quickly attracts sharks. Then he pushes Moses into the water. Zafara had already warned him not to move at all in the presence of sharks. Moses remains perfectly still, and her advice works. The sharks inspect him but do not attack. After a while, Tucker pulls him back onto the boat, but this time, he becomes more ruthless. He stabs Moses multiple times and throws him back into the water again. Moses is now on the verge of death when he looks up and sees a lifeguard helicopter flying overhead, searching for Zafara. Fearing discovery, Tucker drags them back below deck and locks them in. Moses is in critical condition. He's still breathing, but very faintly. Zafara sees this and knows she can't wait any longer. She tries to pull her hand out of the handcuff but fails. She sees only one way out. She breaks her own thumb to try and slip her hand through the cuff, but it still doesn't come out. As a last resort, she uses her own teeth to chew her thumb completely off. As soon as her hand is free, she quickly unties herself. At that moment, Tucker comes downstairs and tries to inject her. But Zafara outsmarts him, pushes him into the room, and locks the door from the outside. She goes to the deck to start the boat's engine, but Tucker finds an alternate way up and shuts down the entire system. Zafara has only one option left: to fight. She engages in a fierce battle with Tucker. As soon as she gets an opportunity, she jumps into the water. She can see an island in the distance where a wedding reception is taking place, but blood is flowing from her hand, and there are sharks in the water. To make matters worse, Tucker gets into a small dinghy and follows her. Zafara manages to reach the island, but before she can do anything, Tucker catches her again, knocks her unconscious, and takes her back to his boat. By now, Tucker is convinced that the real threat is not Moses, but Zafara, so this time, he reverses the roles. He ties Moses to the chair and hangs Zafara in the harness, preparing to record his new show. Suddenly, a great white shark appears, causing all the other sharks to flee. Even Tucker is stunned by its presence. Tucker stares at the shark for a long time. He remembers that this was the same shark that attacked him when he was a child. Despite that, he still loves the shark. In his mind, it is his god. Without wasting any more time, he lowers Zafara into the water. She is still fully conscious. Tucker picks up a harpoon to provoke the shark, but it slips from his hand and falls into the water near Zafara. She uses the harpoon to free herself from the harness and tumbles into the water. There, she comes face to face with the great white. The shark swims toward her but does not harm her. Perhaps the shark sees something different in her, that she, like him, is a survivor. This gives Zafara renewed courage. She climbs back on the boat and engages in another intense fight with Tucker. He is stronger and almost overpowers her. But just then, a severely injured Moses appears from behind and strikes Tucker on the head with an iron rod. Tucker loses his balance and falls off the deck straight into the water. As he hits the water, the blood from his wounds begins to spread, and the scent attracts all the sharks that he had, until now, considered his gods. Tucker starts screaming in terror, but no one listens. Within seconds, all the sharks swarm him, tearing him to pieces. Just as he had recorded the final moments of the girls he murdered, his own death is now a live show, but there is no one left to watch it. Meanwhile, Zafara finds a flare gun and fires it into the sky. The signal explodes high in the air with a bright light. A short while later, a police boat appears in the distance. They had likely traced Moses's incomplete call and sent a search team. As the boat approaches, the police rescue Zafara and Moses. Moses is in critical condition, but Zafara holds him tight, refusing to let go. Aboard the police boat, Zafara looks back at the island where her terrifying nightmare finally ended. Moses slowly begins to regain consciousness. He looks at her, takes her hand and says, "I told you we met for a reason." Zafara manages a faint smile. In that smile there was fear and pain, but above all, there was the spirit of survival. Holding each other's hands, they leave the horrifying ocean behind and head towards the horizon.